you just general stuff regarding your work, especially in light of the upcoming Independence Day anniversary, our 29th. And I thought as a start, maybe you could just share with us your journey, your 4 years journey to the presidency.
Thank you very much. We are celebrating our 29 years of nationhood. 29 years that we say we are now independent people.
Yes.
Our founding father on that day, on 21st of March, said Namibia is now free forever.
Mm-hmm.
When you are free, you set up your own government, you are now responsible for your successes and failures.
Sure.
Now when you are in the office for 4 years, it's going to be 4 years, but it's a legacy that is continuing and not starting from fresh.
Mm-hmm.
So we have always talked about legacy must continue. So I took over from where my predecessors left to first maintain or have a good government architecture. That is to say we must be transparent and accountable, to create trust for people, to be centered towards the people. We are elected, we are servants of the people, so therefore we should address their needs. With that, as I said, governance architecture good, macroeconomic architecture also good for banking and so on. Socio-economic architecture, that's where we have problems. Inequality is still growing,
Yeah.
the poverty is still there. However, there are also things we've achieved.
Yes.
Even those ones we've cut down.
Uh-huh.
So when I'm continuing with the legacy, we are building infrastructure, we are building schools, not so good, but renovating also some schools, big task. Our education system has to be revisited, a lot of failure rates, because of our success in admitting everybody to go to school.
Yes.
That creates now classroom shortage, so success becomes a problem.
Yes.
So I am saying that in the 4 years that I have been here, it's not easy.
Yes.
We inherited or we came with the question of deficit,
Yeah.
about 3 billion. Normally, we used to come a new year
Yeah.
with some kind of surplus or some savings and carry it over. But we inherited deficit and therefore started cash flow problem.
Yes. Yes.
Because taxes only come throughout the year.
Yes.
So that was the crisis we had, but we took steps.
Yeah.
We took drastic actions that really are helping us to get out of the wood now. And we also addressed issues of corruption. We took drastic actions, quietly. Firstly, we cancelled the airport project that completely spiraled from 3 billion to 7 billion. I said, what's going on here? How can that big gap be justified? Therefore, we cancelled it, because rightly the Chinese went to the court, we lost the first round,
Yes.
and then we went to the High Court, we won there. So this were Supreme Court. These were drastic actions we took. And also we had investigated the issue of the oil storage situation. There we also thought there was something wrong, and with Nekata Dam, it was supposed to have been coded in American dollars, coded in US dollars, 80%, so it created a great gap for us, close to about $500 million. We have to pay because of currency fluctuation.
Definitely.
Those are problems we inherited, came with us, because we didn't inherit, we were part of it,
Yes.
came with it in a new year. Okay, we said, when you are coming in, you must dream. Leaders must dream,
Yes.
sleep and dream hard. We said, okay, let's have the Harambe prosperity plan, so we can have an idea what we are selling, not to replace the Vision 2030, which is our national vision. 5-year development plans are there to see how we're going to achieve our vision.
Sure.
But this is now new president, new administration coming to have its kind of impact-making project to implement those visions. So Harambee Prosperity Plan didn't replace either one of them. It's to supplement them and how to fast-track them.
Definitely.
Okay, we did a good job there, and I give credit to John Settler, who left now, definitely not because of disagreement, but he answered that question himself.
Yes.
He and I worked definitely on that project.
Yes.
It's one of the best. Named when I was going to America, when the new still Harambee Prosperity Plan. Americans already say, I said, wow, you already know about it too. Yeah. So in the world, it has been, Namibians are not skeptical. Namibians are always skeptical on things. Yeah. But it's a project that we are selling. It's an idea of a leader to come up with ideas and projects that can be actualized by those who are under him. Yes. So we're happy with that. Yeah. We didn't meet all the targets, to tell the truth. What you will call the independent intervening variables, we say. You plan this way, and something you didn't expect, like drought, just comes in. Yes. So it diverts you from your plan. Sure. Economic, what do you call it, disaster in the world. I mean, well, commodity prices, that's it. We didn't anticipate, we didn't know we depend on Angola so much. Yeah. When Angolan oil crisis came, we were very much affected by that. So these economic things we didn't expect, the world economic, what do you call it, going down, so to say, yes. Affected us. So again, what we were planning in Harambee couldn't be implemented. Yeah. Sure. But overall, we tried our best in the first 4 years.
About fighting corruption, I think one of the things that personally I thought was bold of you and your administration is what we read in the papers that you had approached the ACC to investigate some of the perceptions against some of your ministers. Do you want to touch on that, just to expand on it a little bit?
Firstly, you must now ministers sign performance agreement.
Yes.
It's a new thing, and they must be evaluated. Among them, it's also good governance and ethical behavior. Sure. So if something is wrong, you will say, comrade, what is happening? We said we're going to do that. So it's not accusing you. I want to find out. I'm being accused. People are saying, but they come out, I'll answer. Yes. I don't have to get angry if I'm asked questions, because if somebody is wrongly like the things that have said about me, I'll answer. Yes. That's why I even declared my assets. Yes. To try to be transparent so that I can answer that question. So they shouldn't think I'm targeting you and so on. We talk about. Then I wrote a letter to not charge, but to say this is what has been said about you, what you have to say. Yes. They all replied. They all replied defending themselves. Since I'm not a judge, we have the Anti-Corruption Commission. Yes. Therefore, I handed it over to them, but I took action. Yes. Some of them to remove from that position where they were. Yes. They were very, very angry. Some are maybe still angry, but that's how the things are working. And we are making up now. They all understood I was not targeting them. Yeah. They're not personal. We are there together as to deliver goods. Yes. And therefore, if you are accused, it's good that you clear your name. So that's what happened. It was not an easy situation, I must say. It broke friendships and so on. Yes. But such is la vie, they say in French.
Yes. Now, maybe just to quickly touch on the first question, which was about your assessment of your first 4 years. Did you anticipate things to be, you mentioned the things that have been inherited and the challenges that we face also socially and economically. Did you anticipate it always that it would be this tough, or did you think it was going to be slightly smoother than this?
And I was a Prime Minister. To set up that system was the toughest one. I nearly died. Yeah. This one, I am coming into it being groomed by senior people, working with them. Yeah. So I was part and parcel of the whole process, so it was not something new. Sure. So I even knew how to take it. Whereas the one of setting up the government, my blood pressure was 190, over 90. I wanted to resign. Yeah. So this one really, not that I don't see it's tough, but I have a way to handle it. Yeah. I also have the colleagues that I'm using to help me. Yes. The collective approach, very, very tough, but these are things we could see where it comes from, where it went wrong, so we can handle it.
Sure.
But to me, the first one of 1990 was worse.
Definitely, I can imagine. The first focal points, and you mentioned it in your first response, was about governance. And I know that, I suppose, cancelling some of those tenders, and I know that there are some permanent secretaries that were also issued with warnings as part of the governance approach. What are the other successes scored on that front?
If you look at people having even permanent secretaries, or we're trying to change the name from Namibia,
Executive
it took
directors.
5 years, so eventually it happened too.
Yeah.
Because when you say permanent secretary,
Yeah.
people really felt they were permanent, they were untouchable,
Yes.
and they were even telling some ministers apparently that ministers come and go, we are here permanently.
Yeah.
The idea was to change the mindset, but unfortunately the law had to be amended, so it took that long.
Sure.
But governance, architecture, first time. One thing I can say we have changed the mindset is keeping time. And my cabinet meetings are starting 9 o'clock, sometimes only for 1 hour. Today was not the same.
Yeah.
But definitely time, even at the AU or African countries, they will say, oh, Namibia, you can even set your watch by plane landing on the time.
Yeah.
So that one we really got right.
Sure.
If you can get the time to keep time right, we're making progress.
Yeah.
Also, the question of consultations, collective responsibility. Ministers must be 7 ministers, leaders, all of us.
Yes.
Therefore, you must consult. We are not succeeding.
Yes.
And not transparency. Accountability, transparency equals trust.
Sure.
Now, trust in all of us politicians all over the world
Yes.
has gone down. It's because we are not transparent, we are not accountable.
Yeah.
So I even coined that slogan to say accountability plus T, A plus T equals TR.
Yeah. Yeah.
Accountability plus transparency equals trust.
Uh-huh.
Now we try to be accountable, try to be open. I was trying to call press conferences in the beginning to try to lay it out, then to call at the end. We are open.
Yes.
Our meetings are covered by journalists.
Yes.
They are the ones who are getting tired and walking out. Open, all my discussions are done open. That being transparent,
Yes,
and
yes.
opening to account to people through the press and so on.
Uh-huh.
And I think from our side, we wouldn't have done more than what we've done.
Yes.
But we had headwinds,
Yes. Yes.
and look at the drought.
Uh.
We knew the country is dry country, but honestly, we were thinking what we have done, really actions we took to really kind of float our currency,
Yes.
our country.
Uh-huh.
Like we floated the currency
Yes.
to find equilibrium.
Uh-huh.
We took cuts in wastage.
Yeah.
This state house, those chairs and so on, I fixed the place. We didn't buy any new furniture. It's enough furniture. So we did take cuts
Yes.
in wastage.
Uh-huh.
Trips and so on. People used to go to New York about 40.
Yeah.
We cut to about 15 or 20. Where we can cut, we are cutting.
Yes. Yes.
But also we did also therefore hurt the economy because the consolidation project also hurt the economy, that
Yes.
we know.
Uh-huh.
It was necessary
Yes.
to take those actions. Really, it was necessary. Now, when you find equilibrium of your currency, you know now where we are. If we did have, let's say, $10 billion
Yes.
budget, and we didn't go down, and you are asking for 15 billion, we said, no, you can do a 15 or 10 billion.
Yes.
That equilibrium has been found
Yes.
by trying to cut, trying to test. If we don't do that, are we going to collapse or so on?
Yes.
And I think after 5 years, because next year will be a year now to see that, although we are going to campaign this year, but to see that what we have learned must be implemented.
When you talk about the headwinds and all the troubles that we've had so far, which I think, in all fairness, government has been managing quite well. The cost cuts were some of the highlights of that exercise, but what is the plan do we have a plan on how to get out of this, instead of just floating our heads above the waters, to actually go back to growing the economy again? What is the, I see in South Africa, President Ramaphosa, for example, has he introduced a stimulus exercise package of some sort, and I think it worked quite well in South Africa. What is Namibia's plan?
We had Harambee Prosperity Plan. We looked at it, how it worked in certain places, where we failed, and so on. I think we take from there, youth unemployment has been identified as the key, and youth are the future of this country. And therefore, even from the cabinet where I'm coming from, we are talking about in this budget to set what you might call a stimulus by the youth employment projects. That must be the target. And if we can address that, and also talk to business people. I'm going to reveal the secret. We are trying to call Work Economic Summit. I'm going to announce very soon a restructured Present Economic Advisory Council. I've reduced it to about senior economists and so on, coming to only 20, but of course to balance. And we are going to work with them, they got letters now by today, to map out a stimulus project or package, let's put it that way. But aim towards agriculture. Youth might be, I hope they will be willing to work in agriculture, but to really stimulate, innovate, that the youth must be engaged. Our youth are not engaged, we admit that.
Walk us through your your declaration earlier this year of accountability as a 2019 as a rallying call for 2019. In practical terms, what do you want us to do as Namibians?
Like people like you, I know, to appreciate the dreams of a leader. You sit and talk about, oh, this is the year of reckoning, this is the year of rededication. You are trying to inspire your team, the troops, to wake up, as President Nyama used to do during the struggle. Every end of the year, we had this SWAPO Central Committee meetings in the bush, down. The leader used to stand and say, comrades, next year we are going to be at the outskirts of Hindu. And it was now 10 years, every year. The leader does that. Leader is a dreamer here to inspire. So you come with concepts. Now, therefore, this year to be accountable is very clear. Firstly, we have to account to our people, it's going to be election year. And that is the supreme level of accounting. And therefore, if you are going to account in November, you must first account to me. So that I can be able to account to people. So therefore, all of us, ministers, must account first to me, of course. What have we done? Let's just look back, comrades, how we have done. What did we do wrong? What could you have done differently, given the same set of circumstances? But eventually to the ultimate sovereigns, the people. And now what do you do during the campaign? That is a long one. That's a time now people are going to put her to test. They will be asking questions. You failed. When you listen to Namibians talking, except the young ones I heard over 2 days ago, when they were all asked about independence, they were very upbeat. I was proud as an American president. Because when you listen to the experts, I didn't mention this paper today, if you go and read, what is there to celebrate? It's from journalists, it's from scholars. But the people, young people, who didn't even know apartheid, were saying, our independence, I'm proud to be a free person. Most of them were blacks, maybe they felt it. And definitely that feeling of saying, it's our Independence Day. This is the day on which we were liberated by our forefathers. 5 of them interviewed, they were all upbeat on that. But some of us will say, what is there to celebrate? Countries all have problems. Even countries like the United States, we try within their reach, there are poor people, there are ghettos. I live in those ghettos, in Harlem's of that. So it's true, we still have poor people. But if you look at what we have done in these 29 years, taking it back. Infrastructure, go and look at the roads.
Sure.
Go and look at how the economy has expanded.
Yes.
Go and look at the cities and towns and villages. When we were going to Omuthia, there was nothing called Omuthia, just passing by. Utabi, there was nothing. Enana, there was nothing. You are starting now villages and towns developing there. Everywhere you go. And the roads are now being connecting. From Huabes, you can go to Grootfontein. You don't have to come here to go to the north. This infrastructure development is taking place. People don't want to see it.
Yes.
They are refusing. But definitely what we have done and what the outsiders are seeing, those who come, what we are doing is great.
Sure.
Peace first. Yes, free people talk. Free people complain. When people are complaining, I say that's good because we were taught by one professor in America during Black Power days, when blacks were angry. He said, people, 30 years ago, were the blacks better off or worse off? He said, so what? Why were they quiet? He said, when people have no hope, when they are defeated, they suffer. That's in silence.
Yes.
But when you see the light at the end of the tunnel, when you are hopeful, you want to reach there quickly.
Yes.
You want to therefore make noise. So when our young people are complaining, they prove they have trust in their government and their country.
Yes.
Let them go out and come back. When they are out there, they say, I want to go home. Even me, they think I like to travel. But second day, I want to come back already. So to have a country like that, that you want to come back to,
Yes.
whereas others want to go and say, can I extend my stay, can I extend my stay? That is Namibia.
Yes.
Land of the brave.
But on the subject of accountability also, doesn't it also mean then, His Excellency, that it's also about holding people accountable for their actions, especially because I look at the situation like the airport tender. It's one of the highlights on how government actually moved to stop this major thing. But we haven't really seen anyone being... I mean, you put up a very brave fight. You lost the first round in the High Court. You appealed in the Supreme Court. You won. But nobody, unless we don't know, but doesn't it also then mean that holding people accountable? Who was responsible for this in the first place, and what kind of action do we take against them?
Firstly, let me go back to waves of leadership, like the waves of democracy that Huntington is talking about. First wave of leaders were those extraordinary personalities. They were like gods,
Yes.
founding fathers, even our part, but in other parts. Then you had the second wave where there was confusion of Cold War and military coups and one-party state. This is a third wave where you talk about processes, systems, and institutions, not individuals.
Yes.
So therefore, process must be there to deal with those who are doing wrong things,
Yes.
institutions, courts, and so on, and governance like the anti-corruption systems and so on. So you are using that, but it doesn't depend on one person. But you cannot say nothing was done
Yes.
unless you didn't see subtlety of it. If a minister is being not demoted, but removed from where they were, and all those places, people are removed, and do another ministry, they're not happy.
Yes.
So that is a drastic action. But to say, let's do process. I don't know processes.
Yes.
You don't just decide to fire a person.
Sure.
People think firing is the only thing. Take all those people who are not in government.
Yes.
They're not fired just like that. Take the SWAT workers. He said what you are saying. We are tolerant. Process. We said, since you got a letter, you're refusing, I called you. Still a chance. There must be a process. The comrade, you are misunderstanding the issue. We are not questioning the merits of your argument. About land we all are. But how you do it and where about minister. He still started to what you call it. But if you are so unhappy, why are you here? Why don't you go? Okay, bam, left. He forgot even his phone. I will send it quickly. So that is second chance to talk. We don't just fire.
Yeah.
Take the comrade Jerry and comrade Bedukeli, we talk about.
Yes.
Their case, they were right to campaign, the swappers,
Yes.
attack, and so on as they were doing. Not Jerry, not comrade Jerry.
Yes.
Attack as you want. But after elections, you come together.
Yes.
But then letter was sent to them. They said, comrade, you had a right as SWAPO to campaign.
Yes.
No question about that. It's a right. But when you came to the government, when you are saying government is this and this, you are in the cabinet.
Yes.
How are you going to reconcile that now? How are you going to go ahead now? After you have said what you have said about government side, not the party.
Yes.
They went to the same lawyer, I think. Let us still came back, and they were given a chance to make sure we did agree to public, hug and say let's move on, and for public.
Yeah.
But it's continuing. So we are saying now at government level, how are we going to do it now? Because you said it's about that government.
Yes.
We are part of the government. Cabinet handbook is very clear that even if you disagree, once majority took a decision, you want to be part of it.
Yes.
How are we going to? Or they just said they have the right to campaign, but also the signature process.
Yes.
Up to now, Comrade Izana is on my list.
Yes.
I could have withdrawn her from the parliament. She's on the presidential list. But I don't do it. She's attacking and so on. So we do things systematically, procedurally, and we have processes. Not just to fire for the sake of firing, proving a point. Idea is not like the olden days of school inspectors I used to know as a young boy. They were hiding behind a tree to catch the teacher. What do you achieve by that? To say he didn't do it. Today, even auditing is to help the management to improve on it. You don't just fire, don't just catch and find faults. You have to build up the system, processes, so that people have a due process of law. Don't just fire.
Sure.
But firing will come if it happens on cry, because you were given enough time to either amend the ways of doing things or to resign.
Yes.
I don't know why Africans don't resign.
Yeah.
If you are not happy about a situation, we are free. We are not fighting. I couldn't resign during the struggle, because how do you resign in a war? But we are free people, we are free to go. Like settler, resign. Congratulate him.
Yes.
We have a right to move on.
Yes.
We will be working together, as he said himself. That's the way to do it.
Definitely. And one of the things that he spoke about was he spoke still highly of the Harare Prosperity Plan and its prospects to succeed. But he spoke about the challenges that the current economic challenges could hamper some of its smooth implementation. What are your views on that? Is that do you share the same perspective?
Definitely, I was so hurt when this beautiful plan that we thought, hey, we got it now, was already getting the first hit. That is economic category. What we have planned, it will move this way. Maybe we didn't provide for the fallback position, but definitely it affected us. But still, it doesn't mean that like the, what is this thing, Millennium, the goals.
Yes.
Yeah. They were written at a deadline. When it didn't meet the deadline, they restructured it and have a new name for it, but same idea.
Yeah.
So we are going to look at the Harare Prosperity Plan. We look at maybe areas that are over-ambitious too.
Yes.
Right? Over-ambitious.
Yes.
We might cut them down a little bit to be realistic.
Yes.
But I don't think we'll change anything much. We stop. When you are having a headwinds, we little bit stop and say, is it strong enough, can I go now?
Yes.
So we stop, we may say, can we now put it in a second gear and go? We'll do that.
Definitely. You had a mandate from your party, and therefore the majority that voted for the party to say, this is your rallying call going into this presidency. This is the manifesto, this is what we want you to achieve. How challenging has it been to implement the aspirations of that document under the circumstances?
First, you don't have money, and investors are not coming, and not those who are just coming to get contracts from us. That's not investment. Investment is like the HUSA, but not building a road. That's not investment.
Yes.
So really, it affected us because it depends on one another. Yeah. So if one area is not going to be implemented, it affects the other one.
Yes.
So it was a setback, to tell the truth.
Yeah.
A setback, but we have learned from it. We have learned from it. We cannot be over-ambitious. We have learned also, and do what is doable, practical. From that, we'll adjust and move on. Whoever comes, whoever is going to do it.
Definitely. And we know that these headwinds are, you listed earlier on their origins. Of course, part of the problem is you mentioned about inheriting deficits, which I suppose that is more of an internal thing, but the global economy not growing is an external factor influencing that. Is there anything that can be done internally to arrest this situation?
Elephant in a house is the wage bill. Something must be done about that. It's not affordable. Definitely, it's about close to over 60% of the budget. And that is not, affordable.
Yeah.
So whoever want to form the government, definitely is one area to tackle. And a wage bill includes, of course, the army. Other countries' wage bill only talks about civil service.
Yeah.
But ours includes the army, the teaching, and so on, teaching corps and so on. So there definitely, a cabinet is big. Not that we are learning from anybody else. Certain, a new man, when you come in, a younger one, a peer group, President Yoma had authority of our founding father, liberation hero. There is already a built-in respect, and his authority. Then President Pohamba came in, again you could see the difference. It's going more and more relaxed, and so on the region. Here is a peer group person coming, taking over when anybody else could have taken over. And therefore pressure was more on me. And therefore what we have done to accommodate, to create a little bit balance in how you're creating the cabinet, to accommodate, because if you had excluded, it would have been worse. But that is not anymore affordable. So obviously, one way is to cut down on the wage bill, that means the cabinet.
We are now at the point also where we have a lot of debts. I suppose again it's an accumulation of a lot of things that we just enlisted now. And we are hearing the finance minister is talking about borrowing from Germany recently and stuff like that. When are we going to
say China? You mean Germany?
No, there were talks of Germany also, so I'm a bit confused. But how are we going to manage? What is in place to manage this process and slow down a bit on that front?
When you are managing your debt properly, people don't realize when you are taking debts and so on. Firstly, our debt stock is about, even with fiscal, is about 43. Started average is 60% GDP.
Yes, GDP. Yes.
So Namibian debt stock is still manageable.
Yes.
But we are not used to it.
Yes.
We have good management of the debt. We are not used to it. And therefore people are thinking, oh, it's we are swimming in debt and so on. America is 100 and something percent of GDP, over. But they can pay.
Yes.
They can print money. Yes. That's a difference. So debt is talked about, but what is this debt basically? What is a proposal? Debt, about 62% is local, domestic, which is a good thing. And about, I would say 20 or so would be the bonds, euro bonds we had, which is a good thing. And then Chinese are about 2%. But people think it's Chinese debt. We didn't take debt from China since we came into office. But it's been talked about as if we took debts from Chinese debts and so on. What President Yoma and I, when we came in, were averse to were these debts. Like Professor Adedeti, may his soul rest in peace, who told me about World Bank, about IMF, and we are also being targeted because we don't have any debt with World Bank and IMF. they are dying to get us so they can dictate what you have to do. So Aradeji told me that Nigeria had 12 billion that they took as a debt of US dollars. 12 billion. That time we're talking about after 20 years so on, it was 36 billion.
Yeah.
When I heard that, I said, we are not going to go into to be told structural adjustment.
Yeah.
So our debt will be manageable.
Yeah.
We are not playing around. We took cuts, deep cuts, so we can be able to manage our economy. We'll do that.
Yeah. So on the subject of debts, what kind of message, especially on the eve of our independence anniversary, the 29th independence anniversary, what kind of message can you share with the future generation insofar? Because there's always this persistent remarks that we are treating the future generations into debts. Do we have a repayment plan? Can we assure the future generations that they will start on a relatively cleaner slate?
The future generations. That's why we managed the economy the way we did it all these 29 years. And definitely our debt stock is manageable. It's a debt stock, it's a local debt stock, which is the biggest. And that's already manageable, because it's local. And then the foreign debts are managed. We are looking at the favorable debts and also the conditions and also the grace periods and so on. So we can be able to have a breathing space, because we are coming from a West economic situation. We'll manage it. Come and talk to me at the end of my term, and whatever, we'll give you the
Hey, let's talk about the party a little bit. How prepared is the party going into this crunch 2019 election? There's a talk that because of these issues that we're discussing here, that the public may have a different perception of the party, that the party is not managing things well. What are you anticipating?
Parties composed of individuals, of course. But maybe some individuals who are in touch with you, the press, some who are tweeting, some on social media are painting that picture, maybe that the gloom and division in the party.
Yes.
That's how it works.
Yes.
It's not the first time we're hearing this. People, I think SWAPO has changed. Yes, SWAPO that I joined in 62, it's a different SWAPO than the one that I went abroad to work and built up. So it's a movement. Only, what you call constant change is only constant.
Yes.
So we have to keep on changing. We are entering into fourth industrial revolution. Even SWAPO has to think of how we do things have changed. We must do it smartly, even in the party, and therefore things are going to change. Now, SWAPO, normally there are fights. Any party, that's how it is. But we had Congress. Where do you go to when you have difference and so on? In approaches, you go to Congress. It was about a few months ago at the Congress, which was the toughest Congresses I've ever attended, one of the toughest. It looked like a national campaign, because stakes were high. Stakes were high because our era of leadership, either it was do or never. Therefore, definitely people rightly were trying to get it. But once one was elected, in this case yours truly, 75%, that's a mandate. How could they change in 10 months already, that mandate, without testing it? So therefore to me, SWAPO is always a party. People don't realize how democratic it is, but it's very democratic. It's tolerant. It can accept it falls too. We did it just now in the Rundu case, or the Hunter case. We didn't have proper consultation of the ground. We called people and we moved on. That's SWAPO. So we'll do the same. We have problems, we have weaknesses, but definitely don't paint SWAPO. Some people who were a little bit thinking the automatic, we didn't get it, and therefore are angry. Those are individuals, we had it. We had Shipanga crisis, we had Mayombo crisis, we had Benulenga crisis, we had, come on, but here we are.
So how united, and I think it's actually very good that you mentioned that indeed there are voices of dissent here and there in the party. We are hearing even people insinuating independent candidacy. Are you are you are you listening to? Are you hearing some of these things? What is your reaction to some of these views?
How do you feel one independent candidate within SWAPO?
Yeah.
I mean, SWAPO constitution is very clear that the candidate to be is the president of SWAPO. That's the SWAPO constitution. And to be an independent candidate, you must leave SWAPO.
Yes.
And even then, you have to look at the Namibian constitution. It's not that simple.
Yes.
So you have to collect the votes and so on, but it talks about parties too. So people have freedom. This day we are celebrating broad freedom for people to cry, to say anything, stupid or clever.
Yes.
That's a right people gained to this day.
Sure.
So let them shout.
Yes.
Let them even say things like that. It's a freedom. Given that they will be an independent candidate, how are you going to become an independent candidate?
Yeah.
Through SWAPO?
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And even to say somebody in somewhere remained in SWAPO and became independent candidate, we are talking about presidency.
Yes.
It's not a joke.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. As chairperson of the bloc, how has the journey been since August last year when you took over? What are some of the highlights that you can remember?
We have what you call quiet diplomacy, and it was proven to be successful. I think if I could have sat down with enemies, draft a constitution, draft a committee, used the skills that in 3 months we were holding hands and celebrating. So when I think of DRC, what I have done is first to get in touch with my colleagues, consultations. I'm very proud to say I have about maybe 11 direct telephone numbers that I just can call. Just SADC one, all of them basically except the king, a little bit difficult.
Yes.
But definitely when I could talk with presidents, consult, especially and so. And SADC, first meeting we went to Brazzaville, invited by Brazzaville, Congo Brazzaville president, we went there. SADC people accompanied me.
Yes.
Botswana said we're going to do it.
Yeah.
We discussed the looming DRC program. And then we left it there, we didn't carry on. But when President Kabila said that he's not going to stand, I think all those who were suspecting and so on, their guards were down. Thanks God, he's going to leave. They named successor, hallelujah, things are moving. Therefore, we allowed the sovereignty to prevail. We allowed President Kabila to have his processes, systems, and institutions. So he even said, I don't want any foreigners to observe the elections.
Yeah.
I want only SADC and AU. We didn't question them and say why. Why? Then he said no foreign money and so on. It was very clear that he wants to be sovereign. We granted him that.
Yes.
Now, after we granted him that, we're coming now later on. Not to cut a long story short. After I've already consulted my SADC colleagues about sovereignty, he's going to do that. Because in DRC, countries differ, country to country, about democracy even, about elections. So in DRC situation, just to even get a peaceful election is success in itself. So that was the issue we're looking at, and stability. And therefore, what they do as sovereigns also is not our business.
Yes.
We are there to accompany them, they are there to, if they ask, to advise them, and that happened. And therefore, we had started position. There are all kinds of things I cannot mention now,
Yes.
because it was very interesting. But we called a meeting in Addis. We were asked to also have AU meeting. It's very difficult to say now. And then we said, okay, I talked to my colleagues, as I said, as Angolan president together in Abu Dhabi. I said, okay, let's just go down there and we meet and combine the meetings. But not combine, we should have our own meeting first. A SADC is our region. And we'll take our position and then meet AU, because we're a subset of AU, of course.
Yes.
So we did that. We met. We said elections took place under sovereignty of DRC. We didn't interfere. Even results were announced.
Yeah.
And one or two people died. So one dead is one many, but still it would have been worse without. And after they used their process, then and systems. And when they announce the aggrieved person by the institution, they appeal to the court. Who are we to come and say you were wrong? And we have been told to do that by AU. We said no. And I don't know who won, but at the end, the court ruled. Today, no president is there. So who won? Our quiet diplomacy that I was steering with my colleagues won. Madagascar, of course, has stepped forward.
Sure.
So that's it. But AU, SADC, had to think of youth. So I have to come with ideas before I leave about the youth, what we have to do about the youth. Albino question came up to, we have raised. These are things we're going to bring up, and basically all of us have energy crisis. We have to think of that solar, the renewable energy, how we can collectively invite foreigners, investors to come and help us as a region. It's easier for them to come for a region than one country. But energy crisis, youth crisis.
Now being in this position, I suppose you have naturally a better view of some of the issues in the region, one of which is the regional integration impediments that we have, and I know that you are very passionate about that integration element. What seems to be the issue there?
You see, sometimes we politicians, supported by our experts, like to come with concepts. Nice sounding concepts. Oh, when we do things, what I tell in our office, like efficiency versus effectiveness. I asked permission from Bertha to use her name. Bertha will tell me that, I will tell her that I want to see Minister so-and-so Tuesday, 10 o'clock. Bertha will very efficiently, in a beautiful way, send her message there. And say, I've done it. So it's very efficient, she did it. But that person was not there to receive that. Therefore, the meeting wouldn't take place. Therefore, she was not effective. The same with us, as politicians, we come with beautiful ideas, regional integration, well-polished documents, efficiently done. But did we achieve that? We are supposed to have already now common currency by 2010. We are supposed to have free movement of goods and services in SADC. While we are struggling with that, we came with a new idea of tripartite trade agreement. Tripartite, that is SADC, COMESA, and East Africa. It's signed again. That will be a free movement of goods and services. People are still requiring visas. We decided efficiently, we did effectively, not efficiently, we did it. Documents. While we are still struggling with that, there must be continental trade, free trade area. We were forced to discuss, decide it. Now, what I told AU, SADC is, please, let's not just try to spoon out statements. We are bureaucrats, it's good for you, scholars. Scholars have a way, project doesn't work, change the name, and come up with a new project. It looks like. Let's now deal with effectiveness. What we are deciding is effective. Don't throw things down people's necks, as some people do. It sounds good, but if people didn't agree, like this 2% of trade that was passed by AU to finance, self-finance AU, it's an excellent view to finance our own organization. But outsiders doing it, they control. So we agreed. Now you go and say 2%, 0.2% of your import. We're importing country. Now if you do that, you don't have your own resources that we're manufacturing here, you're importing. And on that, we're going to pay that. We said now, we have a problem with SACO. Let's be allowed to do our own thing. Just give us the bill. We are normally paying countries, we are not defaulting. There is a war. But after we push that on our throats, that amount was even twice the budget. So no proper studies were done. We like to take decisions, impose them. When you ask, you are saying you are delaying and so on. We said no. We fought for our country's independence. We will do ways things the way we think is good. Now we are all coming back to that.
Definitely.
And realizing that we have to be careful, and we are allowed now, there was an amendment made, that we are given the what we are supposed to pay, and how we pay this nobody's business. Because we have our own circle problems. So that's the thing. Then we also have a way of creating institutions to copy the European Union or whatever it is, which is in trouble. We have one example would be parliaments. We have the national parliament, we have the Pan-African parliament, we have consultative parliament.
Yeah.
It all costs money. We have money for it. We do that and go to the Europeans. So they say we want to be independent of you.
Yeah.
We want to have our own this and this. They will still go and say, oh, the owners, please come. So that's the contradictions that I mentioned when I was at Gabon headquarters.
Yeah.
And I think it went very well that it is, we must do what is practical.
Sure.
Free movement of goods and people.
Yeah.
Why should Africans still need visas to come to other countries? Oh, criminals. Deal with the criminals and leave those who are coming properly to come in and spend money and go back.
Sure.
As movement. Not only diplomatic and official, that's only the two leaders. We are saying goods and services. People's movement, free movement. So regional integration comes from two big guys quarreling. Kwame Nkrumah and Nyerere. Kwame Nkrumah wanted to have a continental government immediately, one government. Nyerere said we must go gradually and so on. We must first harmonize our way of doing things. Governance, architecture, and so on. So that's how now this Rex question came up. And I think that's a good idea. But if we are rushing to prove something to whoever, we are more strong leaders who can impose things, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So what I will say is that, yes, I'm a Pan-Africanist.
Yes.
And therefore I really believe Africa must unite. But what Nyerere said is we must first harmonize how we do things. TRC, which was an odd person, to be inserted a different ballgame. Their administrative structures are different, French and so on. Whereas ours, Boers and then British, it's very different. So English-speaking countries have similar ways of doing things. Let's harmonize that. So when I cross the border, I must find the same realities outside.
Definitely.
So I believe in regional integration.
Yeah.
I believe in continental unity. That's Pan-African dream.
Definitely.
With Kwame Nkrumah, with Sam Nujoma, with Mandela, all of them.
Yeah. Definitely. Just to say something to your people on the eve of independence.
Today we are enjoying peace. We are enjoying unity, but I'm seeing that we are sliding down, young people especially, and become more tribal, original. We fought for this country's independence. Many gallant sons gave their lives to fight against Bantustans. Swapo said no to Bantustans. People died because of that. We would have just said yes and come back and be given to our homelands, to be sent to our homelands. They wouldn't know a temporary thing, of course, we know. But Swapo said no. And it prolonged the sufferings so that now, desiring to have one Namibia, one nation. Namibian children can hold hands and grow in that Namibian house. So I will say on this day, reflect, young people, old people, let's hold hands and live in this Namibian house. We don't have any other country we can call our home. We cannot destroy this beautiful home we have. Yes, families can always disagree, they can quarrel. But after quarreling, let's hold hands and pull in the same direction. That of prosperity, yes, that of equality, and above all, peace. To maintain peace, to live in this beautiful country. When you watch TV in countries where there are problems, children suffering, do you want that? No. So let's enjoy this day, deserved day that for which many of our gallant sons gave their lives. so that we can enjoy the peace we are enjoying today.
Thank you, His Excellency. That was beautiful. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.